Natural Resources Minister Amarjeet Sohi is a bad minister and an even worse historian. Today I'll show you how he tried to revise the history of the Liberals' inaction on pipelines. Amarjeet Sohi is one of those rare endangered species. He's an Alberta Liberal MP. They won't be around for much longer. And because he's an Alberta MP, he's been given high-profile roles time and time again in Trudeau's cabinet. First, he was at infrastructure. Now he's at natural resources. But he was awful at both, don't worry. Now, a couple of days ago, he wrote this op-ed. It was published in the Calgary Herald with the unironic headline reading, "Alberta, this government has always had your back and always will." Yeah, they've always had our back. Full of knives. But anyway, let's go on to the substance of the op-ed. So he brags about investing in the Kinder Morgan pipeline, which of course is Liberal doublespeak for spending $4.5 billion of somebody else's money that the government doesn't even have on an aging pipeline that wasn't even for sale, as proof of the Liberals' ongoing support of the Alberta oil industry. So he writes this: "The long-term solution lies in building pipelines that allow our resources to get to non-US markets. That is what our government is focused on, and that is what I'm working each day to deliver." I think that's a steaming pile of garbage, but I'll get to that in a second. Let's go on to Sohi's performance on CBC a day or two ago. Just watch this.
We stood with the energy sector from day one when we got into office by extending EI benefits for laid-off workers. I know
but they say you killed Northern Gateway. You made it so that Energy East couldn't go ahead, right?
I think any intelligent person will tell you that Northern Gateway was overturned by the Federal Court of Appeal. And
I think there are a lot of people who feel that your government made that final decision, and I'm not sure it's fair to characterize them as not being intelligent.
Well, not moving forward on Energy East was a decision of the company.
After the NEB changed the rules under which it could get approved and added downstream and upstream emissions.
We were very clear with TransCanada that Energy East would be reviewed under the same process that other pipelines have been reviewed, and we were very clear that downstream emissions will not be part of the assessment, but TransCanada made that decision.
But is that true? Did the courts kill the Northern Gateway pipeline, or did the Liberals keep their promises to do it? And are you not intelligent if you don't believe the yarn Sohi is spinning on the CBC? Oh, and they did make that promise to kill the Northern Gateway pipeline. Just check out this Justin Trudeau video from back on the campaign trail.
The Northern Gateway pipeline threatens not only the British Columbia coastal economy, but the jobs of thousands of people who live on the ocean. If I win the honor of serving as Prime Minister, the Northern Gateway pipeline will not happen.
Did you notice that Justin Trudeau uses sort of the same excuses that the anti-oil activists are using right now against Kinder Morgan? Trudeau basically handed the left a successful script on how to kill a West Coast pipeline, and they're using it right now. And then there are these tweets from the Prime Minister. Decision to approve Northern Gateway is with Prime Minister Harper. He must recognize serious risks this pipeline presents and deny it final approval. And if I'm elected Prime Minister, the Northern Gateway pipeline won't become a reality. But now Sohi wants to believe that Liberals are doing everything they can to get our oil and gas to non-US markets. If that were the case, the Liberals would have never canceled the Northern Gateway pipeline, which would have brought our oil to markets in Asia. And despite what Sohi is saying on the CBC, completely uncontested about the Northern Gateway pipeline, the courts didn't kill it. The Liberals canceled the Northern Gateway pipeline by invoking an order in council to direct the National Energy Board to kill it for them. But you don't have to take my word for it. Here is the order in council, which is a directive by the government that goes around normal parliamentary procedures. Therefore, His Excellency, the Governor General in Council, on the recommendation of the Minister of Natural Resources, although it wasn't Sohi at the time, it was originally Jim Carr, directs the board to dismiss Northern Gateway Pipeline Limited Partnership's application for certificate in respect of the construction and operation of a terminal at Kitimat, British Columbia, and 2 parallel pipelines between Bruderheim, Alberta, and Kitimat. Did you get that? This is a directive by the Minister of Natural Resources directly to the National Energy Board to deny the certificates for construction of the Northern Gateway Pipeline. And here is the National Energy Board's response to the directive from the Order in Council brought forward by the Minister of Natural Resources through Order in Council 2016-1047, dated 25th November 2016. The Governor in Council does not accept the finding of the Joint Review Panel that the project, if constructed and operated in full compliance with the conditions set out in the panel report, is and will be required by the present and future convenience and necessity. The Governor in Council does not accept the panel's recommendation and is of the view that the project is not in the public interest. The Liberals killed the Northern Gateway Pipeline, not the courts. Don't believe their lies. They rejected the Joint Review Panel's findings that the Northern Gateway Pipeline was in compliance with the environmental conditions and in the public interest. Canceling the Northern Gateway Pipeline might actually be the only promise Justin Trudeau has ever kept, which is why we remember it so fiercely. And we are not unintelligent for accurately remembering reality. So he tried to gaslight an entire country with an op-ed and an appearance on the CBC saying things that are completely untrue. He called you unintelligent, but he either doesn't know his own ministry's portfolios or he's lying. And I guess it's up to him to choose whether he's incompetent or untruthful. It's pretty ballsy, but it's also pretty crazy at the same time to try to pass off such a shameless, provable untruth, especially when he's an MP from Alberta and he knows, or at least he should know, how deeply Albertans care about these issues and how deeply Albertans are informed about our energy sector. It's a good thing we aren't all that hard of remembering down here at the Rebel, unlike the rest of the mainstream media who just seem to give these Liberals a pass for their long and storied history of being anti-oil and anti-Alberta. But you know what? The media has 600 million reasons to let the Liberals rewrite history. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. What you just saw there is the daily video that I do here at The Rebel, but did you know that I have my own weekly full-length show? It's aptly called The Gun Show, where we talk about issues facing Canadian families in a way you won't see done in the mainstream media. But to get access to my show and the rest of our incredible premium content, treat yourself to a Rebel subscription today.